Okay, I'll try that again. I've just said hello, but I haven't turned my microphone on, as you do. Hey, it's Christmassy. Yes, I've managed that. I just forgot the audio. I've managed everything apart from the audio. We're live. Marvellous. Right, now I need to get to see the chat because I want to chat with you lovely people. If you're wondering what that echo is, it's Mike. What are you doing?
Checking that your audio is coming through.
Well, now we can all hear it in stereo.
Right.
Obviously, nothing wrong with that, but that's not the point. Ah, there we go. So we're live. Happy Christmas, if you celebrate. If you don't, happy Christmas anyway. I must admit, I love Christmas. I have always loved Christmas. Really, seriously, love Christmas. So if you're with us in the chat, say hello.
Hello.
Hello, MTCK123. When will it start? Well, we've started now. Hello. Right, let me get up with you what we are going to do tonight.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
You're across here now, are you?
Yeah.
Mike's across here. This is going to be interesting.
Is it?
Yes.
Why?
Because I'm all organised here. It's terribly frightening. I'm organised. Be afraid. Be very afraid. And I've just realised that I can't make that live without clicking that, and I can't click that if that's live. I'll share my desktop first.
Problems.
Tech is lovely, isn't it, when it's working? Oh, no, it doesn't like that either. Do you remember that problem we had before? Oh, right, where's my screen capture? Let's do a screen... is it a screen capture? New screen capture, that'll do. Yeah, let's add one of those. And then, oh, no. No. I've got problems with my screen capture. It's not looking right. So what am I going to do to fix that, I wonder? Last time I did that and it worked. I need a monitor. Because I want you to see what we're going to do tonight. Do you want to tell them all about what you're going to do, Mike?
What am I going to do?
Yes.
What, you want me to spoil the surprise?
Be very generic.
I'm going to talk about playing music in my car. And then I'm going to talk about building calendars.
That's generic enough. I'm liking that.
And then I'm going to shut up.
And then I'm taking over.
Because that's all I know.
But then what?
Then it's time for Santa to come down the chimney.
I wonder if I make that live, if it would work. But you know, I'm thinking, no, it won't. Look at it. I'll make it live and you can... No, see, that's not going to work either. Oh, no. Oh, Wirecast letting us down. So I'm going to have to try and recreate my shot. But as I'm trying to recreate my shot, it's failing. Oh, no. Right, well, I'm going to do something Affinity-ish tonight. So what we want to hear from you early, because we're still actually in pre-show, is what apps do you use? What would you like to see tutorials on and stuff? That was a complete disaster. I can now see it on there because we're 30 seconds ahead of you. Are you going to go on to Affinity Design or Affinity Photo? I am. I have a demonstration tonight of Affinity Photo. And what I've picked is Affinity Photo Beta doing some batch processing. Now, do you use Affinity Photo for batch processing? Let me know if you do. What I should have done with this that would have worked, which I'll remember for the future, is, oh, hang on. I've had an idea. I think I could solve this.
MTCK123 is happy.
Oh, you're happy. That's brilliant. Right, what I need to do first is try and fix that you can't see my screen properly. It's all corrupt. I'm not happy with that. Right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to make my screen full resolution. That should solve the problem. Ah, brilliant. Now, what I'll do is I'll scale it again and see if it comes back, if it works. If not, we'll have to go into half resolution. Now you see, look, now I've got it in stereo. It just isn't playing. Look at that. Apple, you're useless at times. Right, we're going to do it in full resolution. Hey, never mind. Let's see if that works.
Good to go.
Right. Okay, let's get rid of that. Let's make my desktop shared so you can see it briefly for a brief second, and then you'll be back in the after hours. And I've fixed that stripe at the top twice, and now it's not working. Oh, I love tech at times. This is not one of them, I'm afraid. Joy. Right, so let's have a look what we are looking at tonight. We are a couple of minutes early, so you're getting a sneak peek at this point. Right, first of all, the week at MacBites headquarters. It's become a tradition, first 10 minutes while you're settling in and getting a drink. We'll have a look at what we've been up to this week, and we're following up with the last session. And what we did on the last session was we'd been to Dunham. I'm now looking for my other toy that I had at some point, and I've no idea where that is either.
What toy is it?
The one that was in the grey sock. I've been organised and put stuff away.
The grey sock?
The grey sock. I've no idea what
Is that called a foot?
No, it's a grey sock.
Oh, a grey sock. I've got a black sock.
No, it's all right. I'll use this instead. Right, so we left our intrepid former selves at Dunham. So we've got the second half of that. And then we've got our Christmas tree. All our Christmas decorations are finally up. You'll all be glad to hear. And they look fabulous. Then we've got Mike talking about CarPlay on a budget. And I do mean a budget. We're talking a terribly, terribly tight budget. Then Mike's talking about Excel. But don't worry. It's calendars and there is a sexy end to it. Is it all right to say that?
Yes.
That doesn't spoil the surprise too. No, because we're not saying what it is.
No.
We're just saying it's got a very sexy end to it. Right, and then it's me, and I'm talking about batch processing images in Affinity Photo 1.7 beta. Why am I talking about it in the beta, I hear you ask? That's because the beta batch processing does a whole lot more, it's much more useful, than the current release version of Affinity Photo. So that's why I'm going to be talking about it. While I'm talking about batch processing, I decided, as I was contemplating it, that one of the things a batch process can do is give you macros. So you've got two automation features within Affinity Photo. You've got batch processing and you've got macros, and you can work them together. I'll let you think about that for a second. It's amazing. So that's what I'll be doing in there. And then we have the unboxing of the week. Yes, I've got something else to unbox. I've also got some pictures of the unboxing I have been doing, which is even more impressive. Good evening, Graham. Good to have you with us. We're going through what we're going to do. Affinity Designer and Affinity Photo are still incredibly popular. So as I've just been talking about, we'll be looking at Affinity Photo. But not before Mike has looked at CarPlay on a budget and Excel calendars. So if you are only here live for Affinity Photo, give us a while. Keep one ear out if you're not interested in the rest. If you're watching the video...
But do stick around.
Oh, stick around, because it's going to be so good.
It is.
If you're watching on the video, underneath in the description, you will find the running order with clickable links to go just to what you want to see. So can't really go wrong with that. That does not mean Scarper now, because if you Scarper now, you don't get to ask questions live. And we do like you to ask questions live.
And there's nothing on telly. So there's no excuse.
Oh dear, Graham's only got an hour. Oh no! Graham must have friends. We haven't, have we? No, that's why we're on. All our
friends are here.
Yes, exactly. All our friends are virtual. That's why we're on here.
Yes.
Right, let me just... it's plus, isn't it, to make that chat bigger? So we can actually see what's going on, you know.
Graham must be going out for Christmas Eve.
We could have gone out, couldn't we?
We could.
Yeah, but it was cold and wet.
It still is cold
and Mike had already been shopping this morning.
It is cold and wet still.
It is cold and wet. So while we're warming ourselves up for 5-10 minutes or so, put your questions in. Tell us what you want demos of, because we make sure that we follow the chat and we put all of that into a system. Oh, believe it or not, this is all organised. And it's what you put in there that what we cover in the future. So while we're talking about that, we left our intrepid past selves at Bubble Bridge at Dunham Massey. So this is what we've been doing this week. Isn't the iPhone amazing? They're bubbles. It looked like snow, I'll grant you. But the iPhone really struggled, I'm afraid. Yeah, I've got some pictures of Mike, he won't let me show you, that are even worse. So I clearly need a better camera. If you've got any suggestions for a better camera, post them in. I'm up for it. Graham got a very snazzy camera that I was interested in, but I can't remember what it was. So I definitely need a camera that can do better than that on bubbles. But we did have a fabulous time at Dunham. We talked about the tech that they'd deployed. I need to talk to them about the tech. Make a great interview, wouldn't it, of how they put all that on?
It would.
Should do that.
Yeah.
We went from Bubble Bridge into, what would you call that? The bauble field. The bauble field stretched for about 3/4 of a mile, and the baubles were just totally amazing. As you can see, they're all spaced out in lines, but as you walked round them, and you did a whole circuit of the baubles, they were changing colour as they went, and there was beautiful music playing. It was the most amazing experience. We did get some video of it, so this is the video that I took of it. I don't know what you thought, the iPhone did well. I think it did as well as any other video would have done, given it was raining and cold and etc. But it didn't it looked better than that in real life.
I think it did.
I don't think it captured everything. Now, you see, Graham's got this Fuji X-E3. Right, I'm going to keep a copy of that, Graham. I'm going to go and have a look at it. I don't know if yours would have done better than that. It just didn't capture, I didn't think, the vibrancy of it. Even though I have got some audio with it, which you're not hearing, it didn't capture it as it was to me. The photos were great, but I thought some of the video maybe it just can't. Maybe it's the scope of it that you need to see all of it and you're only seeing a tiny bit of it. Not sure. All the trees were lit up as well, as we talked about last time. And here's Mike. He's bothering another reindeer. This one's Dancer.
Prancer, Prancer.
Oh no, now he's singing. So you can see we've had a fabulous week. A fabulous week. That was Icicle Cove. Icicle Cove was amazing.
Is that what it is? I thought it was a nuclear winter.
It does look like that, doesn't it? No, it was. It was the most beautiful thing. It's the first time we've done it, and it's actually apparently only the second time that Dunham have done it. I definitely go again. I absolutely, definitely would go again. Oh, Graham, you need to try the video. And here he is with Cupid.
Cupid and Prancer and Dancer.
Yeah. You need to try the video. I think I'd like to try one first. Maybe I should just hire one. Rent one of these cameras and try it. Yeah. Yeah, I think that might be a way to go. Now, this was when we got into the most exciting bit, because we didn't know there was marshmallow toasting. And somebody likes marshmallow, don't they, Mike?
They do.
But this wasn't just marshmallow. This was a marshmallowist. I wondered too. Basically, you went through a lit archway into that big gazebo in the middle, which, as you can see, was very crowded, not surprisingly. And there were 3 huge cauldrons of fire. Oh, God, they were warm, weren't they?
Warmest place of the night.
I actually thought it was frightening that there were children walking around there. Yeah. Obviously, buying marshmallow, they were on wooden sticks. And there isn't any there that you can see. But you can actually see up towards the top, about 2 o'clock in the cauldron, that somebody's marshmallow had actually dropped in. And the heat knocked you over. It really did knock you over. Mike got fully into the swing of it, though, didn't you? And that's his. They see there's 2 that people have dropped in. Not locking up the price they were. Wasn't it $1.50 a piece? $1.50. Yeah. $1.50 a piece. It did, however, taste fabulous, as Mike will attest to. Now, what flavour was yours?
Wasn't it coconut and was it cranberry? I can't remember.
I thought it was cranberry and popcorn.
Cranberry and vanilla, I think.
Oh, I thought it was popcorn.
Oh, it could have been popcorn. I can't remember.
Was it nice?
It was.
Yeah, good. I just went for a plain vanilla, being boring that I am.
Yeah.
But no, we had the most amazing time. Another reindeer. There's a common thread here. Can I just say, everyone was having the picture taken with the reindeer. Maybe the kids, though. I think you were one of the few adults. But I didn't have a kid with me, so Mike had to do it. Then we approached this, which was just amazing. I'm going to play it, so it's a video while I wrap it on. It was like strings of lights. It was probably about 60, 70 yards long. And you actually walk through these strings of lights. They were very heavy. Wouldn't cause you damage as you went through, but they were very heavy. And they were just fantastic. That was such an amazing experience. This was the video I was saying to you last week. You see the woman in front with the bunny ears?
Oh, the bunny ears.
That's actually a grown woman with those bunny ears on. It did make me laugh, but If you are anywhere near a National Trust place that is doing anything like this, do go, because it really is amazing. Obviously, it helps keep them open for the rest of the year, etc. But as an event, it was really fantastic. It's also a great opportunity to try your nighttime videography and photography. I did find some of the photos were like, that's a little bit blurred. And then I had one that was very sharp, but the light wasn't as good. And as I'm looking at these things, I thought, I'll use these as demonstrations in Affinity Photo to pull together. So I've got maybe something like, what's it called? Is it an Orson effect? The Orson? I can't remember. I can't remember what it's. I think it's an Orson effect, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure of the name of it. But basically, I would superimpose one on the other. So I've got the clarity of one image, and I've got the lighting of the second. So there will be. You're seeing the raw video footage here, but some of these images that I took will form the basis of demonstrations in the upcoming year. Just look at that. It's fabulous, isn't it? I was surprised you could actually touch the lights as you walk through it. Probably not the most hygienic thing I've ever done, but you know what kids are like for having colds. But, you know, as you walk through it, it was stunning. It was amazingly stunning. I think that was my favourite bit. Although I must admit there's a Christmas tree coming up that's fantastic. One interesting thing to look at, to talk about in relation to this, although it's basically our holiday photos, isn't it? But if you're trying to take photos of stuff like this, it's not easy. I decided I wanted to enjoy the experience, which I think is more, that's important when you go to these events. You know, there were people there with 3 cameras lined up on 4 tripods. And I'm like, you're not really in the moment with your kids. So I'd made the decision to deliberately just take my iPhone and do with that. If you can just see there in the middle, as it just stopped there in the distance, there's another reindeer. That means another picture of Mike. And there's a Christmas tree. And point with this is it actually, I found it very, very difficult to get decent photos of some of it. We've already seen stuff like it going in and out of focus. It didn't do very well on the bubbles. The bit in the middle that you can see, I think there's another nearer one there, is a Christmas tree. And the whole area outside that house is lit with real fire. And it was very difficult to get a photo of. Here's Mike. This one's blitzing.
I'm not going to say.
No, please don't. So that's the tree, and the whole thing is lit with fire, and it was very difficult to photo, very difficult to get video of. The video was going in and out of focus. I know there's some sort of focus lock on it, but it wouldn't be told. It wouldn't. And of course, you've got very bright bits down there on the left, and then very dark bits across on the right. So it was actually very difficult to get decent photos of. I don't think, for instance, that these that are coming up actually capture what that was like, just how amazing it looked. So I'm looking for suggestions for next year. How on earth can I improve this? Because I don't really want to take a load of kit with me. I have got a DSLR. It would just be too hot, too heavy to carry in these circumstances. I think actually here the video got it better than the photo, because you can actually see the fire. But even so, the video's a little bit on the grainy side. And as you move, there you go, goes out of focus. I could not keep that in focus. I guess it's because the tree itself is hollow. So it's trying its best to focus. And it doesn't look altogether bad when it goes out of focus, but it's not great to have it going in and out of focus, which is a problem. So I need to think of a better way for next year, I think, is the fundamental of that. Some of the still images, like that one, managed to capture the lighting, but still, I don't think they're great. The iPhone seems to struggle more on blue and purple. The foreground of that image doesn't look bad, but the house that's lit in purple and blue doesn't look great. You see there? That's much better. It looks much more realistic when the lighting was red. But of course, I unfortunately have no control of the lighting. Sadly, I didn't. So as you see, we walked around this bit as well. This was coming to the end of it, you'll be glad to know. I think the iPhone did better in the darker it was, to be honest. It did manage to capture that, and I think that's not a bad photo at all. I was quite happy in the end, and these are untouched. They're not edited in any way at all. I haven't edited any of them. So I'm sure I could improve them, like that one's cockeyed for a start. Must have had too much marshmallow at that point. So I could improve them if I wanted to, but I think actually they need basically to have better raw images to start with. Were you at your last one by this point? This was Prancer. I think you were nearly at the end of your
The
race.
last one was Rudolph.
I know, but we nearly missed him. That didn't look bad considering, but it didn't pick up the fact, well, not too clearly, that they were projecting snowflakes onto the side of the house. You can just about see it, but I definitely think the equipment could have done with being, would you say, better, different, more capable, better at night mode. I would love to have taken an Android with me, put it like that, the Pixel 3 or the One Plus, and seen what that could do. See, the iPhone definitely copes better when it's just dark and light. It did not like purple, it did not like blue. But that, nothing wrong with that. That's so pin sharp with the clock and stuff. So there was a fun fair. It was fabulous. Unfortunately,
I didn't get to go on it.
No, mind you, do you know how much a ride was? £2.50. I'm sure it was 10p when I was a kid.
More expensive than the marshmallow.
I know. I couldn't believe the price. But no, there was no roasted chestnuts that Mike could find. But there was plenty of other rubbish. None of it we participated of. Not there we didn't anyway. Mind you, it was cold, wasn't it? That was your head again.
I'm just thinking that.
Yeah, but then, the highlight of Mike's night, wasn't it?
Rudolph.
Meeting Rudolph.
Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer.
So he was just on the way out. Then there was the most amazing display. And again, it was something that's an interesting point to make here. I could not capture that. That looked stunning. On the video, you just sit and think, what on earth is that? It was a light show across the lake and it looked fabulous. But when I watched the video back, I thought it can't focus. It's focusing on the water on the right-hand side, which was why I moved, and then I went across to the house, and then I thought I'll move back and maybe it will be able to focus, because it was definitely focusing on the water. But as I moved back, no, I couldn't capture that in anything like the detail I would have liked to have captured it. When it finished, so it's lights playing across the water, it looked like, I don't know if it was or not, you see that white bit? I thought it was water. That they'd like got some kind of pumps in it, and there is something in the middle, but I'm not sure. And you can't tell. You can see that dancing about. But at the end, they finished with a projection over the top of it, and I really wanted to capture it. And that was part of the problem. It didn't do brilliantly well capturing even that bit. But that little bit there's better. But you're back to the fact it just can't cope with blue, can it? Blue and purple. Didn't like it. Didn't like it at all. I thought I had one more bit. There it is. That bit at the end. It actually projected up and said National Trust across it. I didn't do bad capturing that because I think I took about 20 and that was the clearest. So I don't think my iPhone is going to live to fight another day next year. I think I need something better than that. And then we finished up. That was out where we started, and we settled down, Graham, for something to eat. Which you can just about see right down at the bottom. It was, what was it? Flapjack?
Flapjack covered in yoghurt.
It tasted way better than it sounds, and it was gluten-free. So that was our week. The other thing that we've done, we showed you the Christmas tree. But we have 2 Christmas trees. And here is the second Christmas tree. Mike's literally just done this now. Oh,
Hot off the press.
Hot off the press.
Hot off my iPhone.
Now, see, for example, that looks desaturated. I need better equipment. I'm relying on you guys to tell me what equipment I should actually have. The Christmas tree's fine, but you see how grainy it is? It doesn't look HD, it looks grainy. It looks like there's something across the lens. Mind you, see, I didn't take it, it was Mike. So maybe there was something across the lens. Oh, I'm getting the evil now.
Moving swiftly on, as we say on that.
Well, just to give you the idea with our beautiful tree, there you go. That's what it looks like when it's in focus. So that was our week. I'm just thinking now how I'm going to do this because that's with you and I'm on next. Right, first demo of the night. 15 minutes in, bang on time, bang on time. Right, so first demo of the night is zipping and unzipping files on iOS. Do you do this? If you do, tell us in the chat how you do it. I've got 2 ways to show you. So let's go straight in and have a look at it. And for that to work, I'm going to need to air server and get my iPad up. I've got my demo files. I'm all organised. It's frightening. So let's go in and have a look at that. Oh, I swipe it down from the top now, don't I? Do wish they'd stop changing things. It confuses me. Right, there we go. Can I make that full screen? Now, don't forget, I'm sharing my full-size screen. I know that's not the best idea I've ever had, but Wirecast has insisted and I don't get to say much about it. So, here is my iPad. I'm going to show you 2 ways to zip and unzip files. I knew you did, Graham. I knew it was just a matter of time before you said, I use Goodreader, because that's my first way of doing it. Right.
10p.
What?
10p.
10p. You bet me 10p that Graham would say Goodreader.
No, you bet me.
I'm never doing that again. No, it's not on. Okay, what I'm going to show you is I'm going to go into the Files app. If you were with us last time, these were my demo files. In folder 1, I had all the posters that I exported from, I think that was the Mac. Hundreds of them. And I had another folder that had the ones I exported from iOS. There they are. So these are the files that I'm looking to zip and unzip. Hold that thought. Right, so first way that I could do that is to go into Goodreader. So Goodreader's having a rare old think about it. That was pretty slow, wasn't it? Okay, so this is Goodreader. Now, I think Goodreader is $4.99, isn't it? Do a check, Mike. I think it's $4.99. They have been promising a new version of Goodreader since forever, about the last 3 or 4 years. They promise it's on the way. It's a fabulous app. It, as the name implies, it was conceived to be a reader, but it can actually do so much more than that. And zipping files is an example. Now,
it is $4.99.
$4.99. There you go. Right. Actually, when I did the demo of this, I did it by unzipping, but I'm going to start by zipping. So what I need to do is to go into iCloud, or do I? No, I don't. No, I don't. This was my first problem. I'm thinking about it. The problem I had was, where do I get the files from? Because my files are in iCloud, but when I look at this, that's not the whole of iCloud. So that's my first problem. But what I'll do is I've got some polygon backgrounds here. There we go, all unzipped. The reason that these files are in here is that I absolutely did this. They're there because I downloaded a file, which I don't have there anymore, I've deleted it, and I unzipped it in here so I could see them on my iPad. That's why they're there. But we have in here files, and there they are. Right, what I can do in here is, let's go back up there. There we go. Oh, I'm going in and out, aren't I? Steady me, steady me. Need to manage files. And I want to take that folder and make a zip file of it. And it couldn't be easier. As soon as I select, all the tools on the right hand side become active. So in the Manage Tools section, I can select all, deselect, etc. Copy, move, and one of the options is to zip. So tap zip, it says it's compressing the files, and that's it. That's simple enough, isn't it? Pretty much manage that. There is my zip file. Once I've got a zip file in here, and obviously this zip file was made in here, but it doesn't matter where the zip file came from, you can then unzip in here. So you now get an unzip icon and you can tap there and unzip. And now I've got a second folder. So let's come out of Manage Files. I've got a second folder with a second copy of all those files in it. So Goodreader is incredibly capable. It's been around for a while. Was it around with iPad 1? I want to say it was, you know. But mainly as a reader. Yeah. They added a lot of functionality after that. Very, very, very good pedigree this app has got. Now, what's the problem with it? Have you found a problem with it, Graham? Are you going to share? Because the problem I have with it is, when I'm working with files, I don't want to have to take a copy of them and put them into Goodreader and then zip them and then have a zip file and then send the zip file out of Goodreader. It's fine as a workflow once you get your head around it. I won't complain about that. It's just, it's not seamless. It's not the way it works on a desktop. And that's why I found another way, which is far more integrated than Goodreader. But there's nothing wrong with Goodreader if you prefer Goodreader. But let's have a look what I do. That was what I used to do. I don't do that anymore. I don't do that anymore because I'm going into the Files app, and I actually really like the Files app. I remember when they announced it at WWDC, and we had a MacBites live, and we were there, and we were talking about it, and I remember saying, whatever, because I thought it was grossly underpowered. But then when they released it and I had a dabble with it, I said, actually, this is really powerful, isn't it, Mike? And it is. If you know how to use it and how to get the benefit, the most benefit out of it, it really is useful. So in my Files app, what I'm looking at here is my iCloud Drive. So over here, I can get to my Google Drive. I can get to files on Yoink. I can get to Amazon Drive. And I can get to my iCloud Drive. Now, you can, if you go into Edit, you can add other places. So I don't actually use OneDrive, but if I wanted to, I could enable OneDrive, and that would then be available as well. So my files tend to be in iCloud Drive or Drive. So what we're looking at here is the root of my iCloud Drive. And if I tap on demo data, I've got the demo data that we looked at from last time. But this data is the live data. It's on iCloud. I'm not making a copy of it and sending it anywhere else to work with it. It's on iCloud. Which means anything I do on this iPad will ripple straight through to my desktop. To prove the point of that, I will go to my desktop. And it's ignoring me again. It's been one of those days. Poor thing's having a breakdown. I definitely said Command and N then, didn't I, Mike? And nothing's happened. What I'm looking for is a Finder window. Oh, I know what's happened. I know exactly what's happened. It's opened up behind here and I'll probably have about 20 of them now. There they are. What I was going to do is open this up and show you that in my iCloud Drive, in my demo data folder, there are my files. So if I go into the second one, there are the files. So let's leave that open in the background to prove the point that everything I do on this iPad ripples straight through to iCloud. And that's why it's faster than using Goodreader. So I'm going to tap on folder 2. There's the files that I want to zip. So what on earth can I do? Well, what I decided to do was, okay, this is Apple and I can probably select them and then I can tap zip. Oh dear, there's no zip option. Which made me feel I was right the first time when I said about the Files app it's underpowered. And it is in terms of I can share them, duplicate them, move them or delete them, but I certainly can't zip them. So I thought, rubbish, I'll go back to Goodreader. But then I found this app, which is this one down in the bottom right hand corner, purple icon. And I'm going to tap and drag that up and open it next to my Files app. And by doing that, I've just supercharged my Files app. Because what I've got selected over here now, I can actually grab, just take them over there. You see the little icon that I get and the wiggle as I do that, and drop them. And it zipped them. It was that fast. They're done. What do you want to do with it? Do you want to share it or save it? Well, I'm going to save this one. It asked me where I want to save it. Well, I'll save it into my number 2 folder down there, 002, because that's what you can see in the center panel of the iPad, and it's also what you can see on the screen on the left hand side. So I'll tap add, and that's it. Simple as that. File is there straight away, instantly. You can see it on my desktop, and I appreciate because I am broadcasting full screen. It's tiny. It's tiny, but it's there. It is up there. And on my iPad, it's there in the middle, says zip. So it was that simple to zip those files. So I tap done and that takes me out of select mode. And there is my zip file. Well, you can see it. Middle panel, left-hand side. Now, I can tap on that. And that happened to me. Do you want to save the file? Well, that's fabulous. Brilliant. But no, that's not what I want to do when I zip a file. So I'll cancel that and go back to my Files app. I have no idea how that happens. Upon what basis Google Drive wants to take control of that. I have no idea. So let's leave that alone. Let's not do that. But what I can do is drag and drop, let go. What do you want to do with it? Share the files or save them? Let's save them. Where would you like to save them? Well, it's the same files that are in this folder at the moment. So what I'm going to do is go back into my demo data and over on the right, save this to my demo data and tap add. Oh, that would have been fine. It's put them in a folder. Not a problem. So I'm going to double tap that and there are my files. Now, I find that much, much faster because I'm working with the real files, the original files. I've not had to make a copy and transfer them all over the place. These are the original files. Now, what I can do, let's have a dabble with that. Right, I've got my zip file. I'm going to try and get that. Oh, you're not having that, are you? No, I thought I could get that over there, but I'd have to fiddle. So I won't fiddle, I'll leave it. But wherever these zip files are within my locations, I can work directly with them, which is much faster. Now, in your settings of Zipped, I'm tapping on settings, the purple settings, you can make a few changes. One of the things I thought was very impressive was the encryption, but we'll come to that. So your zip file naming can be automatic or manual. If it's manual, it's going to stop and prompt you to do it. So I set it to automatic, and you can see it's the date followed by the time. The encryption on my Mac, if I use the method that macOS supports for making a zip file, I can't password protect it. You can do if you use the terminal and you generally fiddle around, but other than that, it's a nightmare. But in here, you can actually password protect your zips as well, which is brilliant if you're on the road and you're trying to send them somewhere in your email. So it can do that as well. I didn't have it stop and fiddle with that. You've got options for your unarchiving, so you can choose to save in a folder. You can also preview and select the files if you want to. So if you're doing what I call heavy lifting jobs, where you're working with a lot of files, maybe you've got sort of 100, 200 files in 10 zip folders that you want to work with, it might be easier to select them as soon as they're unzipped. So you can toggle that on and off. You can also choose to manually name folders or automatically name them. Again, for pure speed in the demo, I just made it automatic. And they're your options. Now, I did something insane before I did this demo, which was I've just literally updated this iPad to the very latest version. So that was the first time this has been run. The reason I'm telling you that is I always get very suspicious with apps. Are they going to be supported down the line? Well, at the moment, this is clearly in active development. And the update today added support for the newest iPad screen sizes. It is 99 cents or 99 pence from the App Store, and I wouldn't be without it. It's one of those apps that you buy and you install, and after 10 minutes, you just assume it's part of the OS. It's that integrated. I appreciate it works best the way you've just seen it, where you're in split screen, and if you've got a really old iPad that doesn't support split screen, that's annoying. But it works on the phone as well. So instead of doing it the way that you've seen me do it, if you are not a tap and drag and drop person, you can use the send to features and do it that way. And that's the way it works on a phone. So that was our first demo. Is that something new to you, Graham? I see an ooh. I'm sensing 99 pence being spent right now. I do hope I'm right with that. Okay, so that's the first one. If you've got any questions about that, any comments on it, maybe you do it a different way, then share and let me know. Right, let's get back in here and do a quick wrap up of that. So the first way, do press the right keyboard, woman. The first way was with Goodreader, and you can get that from the iOS App Store. Just search for Goodreader. But my preferred way was this, which is called Zipped. And as I said, that is 99 cents from Multi-Educator Inc. 99 pence. And the images that you can see there is it working on the phone. And I just think having that ability to work on the road, it makes my iPad and iPhone feel more like my Mac. And I'm a Mac person, and I appreciate that. I really do. So that's definitely worth checking out. And next, it's you, isn't it? It's you.
Are you going to control the keyboard?
No, I'm going to give it you.
Oh, right.
Because I'm pressing the wrong keyboard anyway.
Right. There we go. Okay. CarPlay on a budget. I like to listen to... In fact, we both like to listen to music, don't we, in the car?
We do.
Yeah. We both...
Okay, because for me, it's either that or you singing.
Really?
Sorry.
Shall I carry on?
Yes, carry on.
We've both got car radios, but I think we like to use Spotify, and also, I don't know about you, but I like to listen to podcasts as well whilst I'm in the car.
Do you know I don't? Because if I listen to a podcast, it's going to be an educational type podcast, and I probably want
to make notes.
I like to make notes, yeah. and you know, it's generally frowned upon if I'm writing while I'm driving.
True. For me, it's talking wallpaper. Probably like for some people, MacBites is.
Yes.
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 Anyway, yeah, the music tends for me anyway tends to be in Spotify. Podcasts tend to be in Downcast, which are both on my iPhone. So the question is, how do I get the audio from my iPhone to my car speakers? Well, I used to have a cabled solution. So I'd have a standard 3.5 mil cable. One end went into the iPhone headphone socket. Obviously, can't do that anymore. Now I've got an iPhone 7. The other end went into the 3.5 mil socket and the car radio. Problem is, a couple of years ago, I swapped my car, and the radio in the car I've got now doesn't have a 3.5 mil port. So the solution is a wireless in-car Bluetooth FM transmitter. That's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? It's made by a company called Nulaxi. It's only about £15. So as I said, CarPlay on a very limited budget. And we will have an Amazon link for you. But what I'm going to do is show you a little video. It's only a couple of minutes, and it's one that we took yesterday, sitting in the car, to actually give you a demo, because we thought we'd go and do after hours on the road and actually go down to the car right now, but we decided probably
No.
a good idea. So as they say, here's one we prepared earlier. Is that going to play?
Do you know what? Your audio's not going to play. You're going to have to talk about it.
I'm going to have to talk about it.
Yes, because we haven't piped the audio
right.
through. That was a good point, that Mike.
Right.
But it'll be on the site later. But
So
yeah, talk it through.
bar.
Yes, just talk it through.
Okay. Right. So there's the device. You can see it's a really small device. It just plugs in the cigarette lighter, which I will do in a minute. It's got arrow buttons to move on to the next track and the previous track. It's got a big button in the middle which allows you to change the volume and also allows you to stop the music playing and also answer phone calls. So it acts as a hands-free kit. You've got two USB slots on the side. One actually acts as a charger as well. So you could plug a pen drive in if you've got music on the pen drive, play directly from there. You've got a card slot, so you could play music or any audio file actually directly off a card. So it doesn't actually have to come from the iPhone, although all mine tends to do that, come off the iPhone. So turn the radio on. I've got one of my presets set to 108. It just happened to be a spare channel, and I'd already programmed the device to be on the same channel. So it doesn't actually matter what channel you use, as long as both are tuned to the same channel. It goes through a standard pairing process. And then I think at this point we went to my phone and I fired up Spotify and it started playing some music. And of course the music would then play through my car speakers. But you can't hear that, so I could sing instead.
Please don't.
No. So I think there we, yeah. You can use those two buttons to move, as I said, onto the next track and the previous track.
That's good considering it's coming from Spotify.
It is. Yeah.
So it must be like sending a signal to the phone and the phone's interpreting that and sending it to Spotify.
And as I said, the big knob in the middle can be used to change the volume.
Those volumes interact with each other.
Yeah.
You have to. I have that one on as high as it'll go, and then I control it with the one on the radio.
That's exactly what I do.
Because otherwise, if you're half and half on each one, you don't really know how to turn it up for the best.
Yeah. And if you just press the button as I'm about to do now, that'll actually stop the music playing, and then you can press it again, and it restarts the music.
What's brilliant is when a phone call comes through and it stops the music.
Yeah.
So it is as automated, to be honest. It's not as fully featured as CarPlay, but it's not bad. I think you're just about finished at that point.
I think I have, yeah. So, are we going to show it live? for you.
We are, but that's a bit of an issue. Because I'm going to have to come out of that. You've gone one too far. You've gone one too far and you need to go. You see, you said give me the keyboard and look what happens when you do. Right, I now need to get the camera up so you can see it, which is always an adventure. Do you not find?
I do.
I find it an adventure. I'm going to have to mirror the screen. And as I start mirroring the screen, all kinds of stuff happens and it's so annoying. Right, there it is. Now, see, it's upside down for a start. Why isn't it doing it right? Oh, come on. There we go. It's on its side now. Right, you just do that and I'll sort this end out. Don't worry about it. Right, there it is live.
There's the device.
There we go.
So if anyone has any questions about it, stick it in the chat.
I actually think that's... that for me is better because what I've done with mine is I've got 2 of those in my own car and one in yours. And what I do with them, I pair them each one with a device. Will you hold it still? I pair each one with one of my devices and then I actually swap that device. But I can also pick it up, put it in my bag. So the one that's attached to my phone, I can take with me and I can actually use that on other people's cars. So I think that's actually got benefits. It has. So put your questions in. Have we done the zipping and unzipping thing yet? We have. MT. I'm calling you MT for short now. We have. And Graham adored it so much he spent money. So you're going to have to wind it back. But don't wind it back now. Watch it back later. So yeah, I really like those. I think they've got flexibility. Now, I can't do that. Can you press 8 if I do that?
8.
We go on. Hey, fantastic. So that's what it is.
And somewhere we have a link. Oh, we'll have to put the link into the show notes, won't we? That is the device itself on Amazon. So just go and search for New Laxi wireless in-car FM transmitter and you'll find it. Or use our special link, which we will put into the show notes. And
I wanted to point out that I don't know if you've noticed, but this has appeared lately. And it's a bizarre thing. There's a price, which is $14.99. And then underneath, not always on mobile, it seems to be more there on the desktop. It says voucher, apply 5%. And it's easy to miss that. But when you do, it will knock another 80p off that. You won't see it until you actually get to the checkout, at which point it will say minus whatever. I've applied 10% vouchers to something at £30 and got like £6 off. And I'm like, really? Your maths isn't great. Knowing full well, the maximum I should get off is another £3. But it seems to multiply. I'm wondering if when I do it on a sale item. So say a sale item's normally £30 and it's down in price to £15. And I apply a 10% voucher to it, and instead of it giving me £1.50 off, it gives me another £3 off. So basically, when you're buying, don't forget to look at that voucher. Put a tick in the box. Even if you don't buy it straight away, the voucher's collected, and it usually sits there for a couple of months. Like that, Graham, only 99p. The zip thing, not the car thing. The car thing's really cheap, though, at $14.99. One thing I'll say is that's the model we've got. It's the model we've got about 4 or 5 of now. And it works. One thing that we didn't show you was that being on a ratchet, so you can actually move it. But it's a set it and forget it.
Which we need to in my car because...
Yeah, Mike's car's a little bit awkward in the shape of it. But I'm telling you that because there are about 5 other models and they're on like a bendy neck, a flexi neck, which I'm not overly fond of. And it works great in my car, so I'd stick with that one. You didn't actually mention how stable it is, but I've never lost the signal.
I haven't.
I used to on the old things we used, but I never have with that.
The last one I had... I've forgotten what it was, but the last one I had, I used to get a lot of interference. But no, this one's been pretty good. That
was why I bought one at the beginning that was on offer, and I thought I'll try it, and if it's any good, I'll tell you about it. But yes, that's what we did. So, Okay, you're up next.
Am I up next?
You're up next.
Calendars in Excel.
Yes.
Okay. Right. Excel probably isn't what you turn to if you needed to create a calendar, but because it can do date-based calculations, because it has a tabular grid-based layout, it's actually an ideal tool. Now, you can either start with a blank slate or you can use one of the many templates that are available. And these templates work both in Excel for Mac and Excel for Windows. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a demo. If you can minimise that.
That needs to be actually dragged out of the way.
Drag it out of the way.
Hey, there you go.
Okay. So let me run Excel. Can I have the mouse?
No.
Do you want to do the demo?
No, you're all right. It's Excel.
Right. It's on the wrong screen.
I know. No, feel my pain when I'm doing demos.
Right. Okay. Right. So if you go into Excel and you click on New, there probably is somewhere a calendar template. The thing with the Mac version is, you can search all templates up here. So I could go and search for calendar. And what it does is it brings back a whole bunch of templates. So you could choose one and you can click create. And what that will do is that will then give you a starting point. So that's one way that you can do it. Okay, I'm not actually going to do it that way. I'm going to do it a different way. So I'm going to open up Safari.
It's already running.
Which is already running.
It's there.
It's there.
In front of your face.
Pointer? I know. And the website is also there as well. So if you go to templates.office.com, what that does is it gives you a whole bunch of templates for Office. And there is a calendars section there. And this actually seems to have a lot more options than doing a search from within the application itself. So I tend to use this as my starting point. So what I'll do is I'll click the search button up here and I'm going to search for calendar.
Is that because you've missed the big button that says calendar in the middle?
No, it's not. I had seen that.
Oh, is there a secret?
Well, it just shows you how to search.
Right, okay. Yeah. Shut up.
Yeah. No. The one I actually want is, there is one that I actually want, if I can find it.
That'll be the one they deleted today.
Probably be the one they deleted today.
No, it'll be there. What are you doing?
I'm looking to see if I can see the...
What colour was it?
It was just called calendar, I think.
Try that one then, that says calendar.
Hang on, if I view the status bar, I may be able to see. Yeah, there we go. That is the one I want, the one that ends in 71. So if you look at the bottom of the screen, you can see the URL that it's pointing at, and it's this one here, where the name ends in 71. So I'll click on calendar. Okay, it then allows me to download it or edit in the browser. So you could actually open this in Office online, but it's going to be much better if you actually open it in Office itself. So click on download. Okay, can I click on show downloads?
It'll be in the download folder, but that's full of rubbish.
Right.
Go on, that'll open it up. Or I'll do it in there. Right, if you go...
Oh, there we go.
Do you just double click it?
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay, so that opens up the file. So what I'm going to do now is take you through some of the customizations, because you could use this as is, but there's a whole bunch of things that you could do to change it. So, for example, you've got there the starting, the year is 2018. I'm going to change that to 2019. And when I press enter, see what happens up here? Shows 2019, and if I go through all the other tabs at the bottom, that's all 2019 as well. So you can control the year. If I change that to 2020, it's now changed it. So I'm going to change that back to 2019. And the week start can either be a Sunday or a Monday. So if I change it to Monday, you can see that we now have Monday as the first day. Change it back to Sunday. Okay, change it back to Monday. But that's not all I'm going to do. I'm going to make more changes. For example, I want to change the colour of the month and year. And if I click onto B1 and look at the styles panel up on the ribbon, you can see that the word title is highlighted. So we have a style, which is basically a predefined set of formats stored under the name title, and the settings for that style have been defined by Microsoft, and it's only for this file. So I'm going to right click on it and modify, and I'm going to then click on format and make some changes. So I will go and change the font to Adventure. That's the Indiana Jones one, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. Let's make it red, and let's make it bold italic, and let's make it 12, and click on OK and OK. Did I make it 12? I did. Oh,
I think it was bigger than that.
yeah, it was. Maybe I need to zoom in.
Well, that's the problem. Because I've had to leave the screen at this resolution, or it isn't playing ball,
Yeah.
it's very tiny. So take it as big as we can to see it.
Make it too big now. I'll do. Okay. Right. Now, if I go to February, you can see the same thing there. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to choose all of those and zoom in so you can actually see it at a decent level. But all of the cells, B1 in all of the sheets, have been formatted with this title style. So as soon as you make changes to that style in terms of its font and its color and its size and so on and so on, it affects all of them. Another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of the sheets, which you can do by clicking the first sheet, holding down the shift key and clicking on the last sheet. Then I'm going to select B2 to H, or B1 to H1, and then I want to center all that text across. Why isn't that working? Come on.
I think you've upset it.
Probably have.
It's thinking about it now.
Should we try this again? Come on. That's better. Merge and center. So that should have done it across all of those sheets. There you go. And another thing I'll do is I'll change the background color of those cells by right clicking on title, choosing modify. So I'm changing the style again, and I'm going to change the background, which is fill. So let's change that to just this light yellow color. Sometimes you have to click on the name of the style to get it to apply.
Which moved the centre back.
Which has moved the centre back. Well spotted. I didn't spot that. Right, let's try that again.
Well, it's merged and centred, and so it needs to be over here in the centre. No, click. Centre the text.
Yeah.
Not merge and centre the text.
There we go, that's better. Right, another thing I'll do is I want to change the colour of the background of the alternate shading, which if I click on any of these cells, you'll see the cells have got the style called banded applied. So if I right click on that, I modify, and then go and change the background colour, the fill. Again, let's choose this yellow, click on OK. And there we go, and that should have applied it across all of the months, which it has. Okay, I also want to go and change some of the print settings in the page layout. So if I go to page layout, go to page setup, I want to go and remove the footer that's been added by default. I didn't know this until I actually printed it out, and then it's got page numbers, which I don't want for my calendar. So rather than printing it out and then showing you what had happened, just take it from me that it's got page numbers, which I want to remove, so I don't want those to be displayed. The other thing I want to do is I want to turn off the center on page vertically and horizontally, because otherwise when it prints, it's going to print right in the center of the page, as you can see from this preview here, which I don't want to happen in my example. Okay, so I'm going to leave it like that. I'm going to save it. And then I'm going to print it to PDF. So file print. In fact, before I do, I'm going to select all the sheets and then print that to PDF. Come on. There we go. Save as PDF.
Yeah, steady on. You got to think about the printer. Oh no, you're okay.
Yeah. I'm going to call this one Calendar 2019.
Desktop.
Stick it on my desktop. Okay, let's shut Excel down. And let's just open this up. PDF.
No, grab the top.
There we go. So you can see what it's done is it's created a 12-page PDF. Now, what I actually want to do is not leave it there. What I want to do is
the sexy bit.
The sexy bit.
The sexy bit. Brace yourselves.
I want to stick this into an app called GoodNotes. Has anyone heard of GoodNotes?
I have.
I know you have. You introduced me to
I
it.
did. I recommended it to you.
Yeah, let me show you GoodNotes. First of all, before I do, I just need to get that file into Google Drive.
If you actually closed an app, things would work better. You don't. Mike never closes an app. He just closes the window and leaves the app open. It drives me mad.
Yes, I know. Right, where am I taking this? Google Drive.
Into GoodNotes.
No, into Google Drive.
It is Google Drive, remember?
Oh, it is, right.
It is.
Okay, into GoodNotes, into templates, and drag it across. Right. Can we have this nearer to
you reflect, I'll do the direction.
Oh, it's from the top now, isn't it?
Lost yourself.
Screen mirroring. Serenity. Right.
Oh, hang on. It's done two now and got itself giddy. Now, I didn't want to close that one, and it's gone into full screen. What have you done?
Me, you haven't done anything.
Oh, Mike. I'll close that window. And leave that window and make that so you can all see it. There we go. Because this is the good bit. You don't want to miss this bit.
So, has anyone used GoodNotes apart from you?
Nobody said. They're wrapped by your demo. So away you go. I'm sure they are.
Right, GoodNotes. GoodNotes is a great app. It's a note-taking app. And one of the great things about it is it supports the Apple Pencil, but it also supports PDFs. And if you bring a PDF in, to act as the kind of background to the pages, you can then write on the top of those pages. So it's like a canvas that you can write on the top of. Let me show you. The app is the one with a little, it's the third icon down from the left rather than trying to describe it. So if I open it, come on, there we go.
It didn't like that.
What's it done?
It's made it black. It didn't like that. I think in there, did you try this? Did you test this? No. So I think in your options, you're going to need to change a setting to reflect rather than show, if you're with me. Would it be general? Would it be something in there? Oh, can you load it in? Right, what we'll do, so you can see it, we will go to plan B. That's naughty, isn't it? Go. Try it again then. I'll make it bigger. Like I've got nothing else to do. It didn't like that. Right, there you go.
Right,
try again.
Okay, I've run the app. I've got 3 notebooks within GoodNotes, and the one I'm going to use is called Demo. So I'm going to tap on Demo, and that opens it. And here's one I prepared earlier, but I'm going to show you how I brought this in. So here's my 12 pages, and literally I can just scribble on top of them.
My calendars look like that, with crosses in it. When's our next holiday?
When's our next holiday? Next December?
No! We've got a holiday in April. Back to April.
There we go. Holiday, 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 holiday.
Yes.
Right, okay. What I do is I tap on the little plus button at the top with a circle on it. I'll tap on import below. I'll tap on Google Drive. I'll tap on GoodNotes. I'll tap on templates. And there is the PDF that I've just created in Excel. Tap on it and it loads it in. And there it is. So there is my calendar brought into GoodNotes, and I can then scribble on my calendar, maybe marking off certain dates where I'm not available, maybe saying this is a really important date, etc., etc.
Honestly, is that how you work with your calendar?
It is.
I don't. I do this. I use the highlighter pen and I very carefully do this. So, maybe these are the days that I'm training and I can't do things. And you can change the colour of the highlighter and they can mean different things. So if we go to April, which is holidays, and make that green. When's holidays? It's late, isn't it?
That week there.
Oh, well, all of that
No,
week.
that's the wrong week.
I'm having 2 weeks off. You can do what you like. So I would do stuff like that. But yeah, I'll take your point with this. So I might put like holiday, which I do that's how I used to do it on paper.
True.
I used to do it on paper like that.
True.
Ooh, I'm liking that. I'm liking that. That was the best bit.
That was.
It was.
So there we go. That was Excel and GoodNotes combined.
GoodNotes was the best bit.
Excel was the best.
No, GoodNotes
yes,
was
but
the best.
without Excel.
Without Excel, it wouldn't have worked.
No, it wouldn't.
Right, have you stopped reflecting now?
No, I haven't.
No, that's why you're causing havoc. Shut his iPad down and did not reflect. Right, okay, time for me again. Time for me again. Right, what's coming up next? Ooh, this is good. This is good, even if I say so myself. This came out of a specific need that I had that wasn't met. I think Graham said he only had an hour, in which case, be on the replay, Graham. Right. My need was, I had some images I needed to batch process. The thing was, I didn't think I did have images I needed to batch process. I had images. That was it as far as I was concerned. Sadly, Apple had other ideas. So let's have a look at what I needed and why I needed it. All right, I'm going to go into my Finder. There's my Finder. And I put the files in here, after hours demos, Affinity Photo. Right, these were the photos that I transferred from my iPhone. The ones we've just seen from Bubble Bridge. And everything was fine with them. They look fine, don't they? Not a problem. Until I came to use them. And it started complaining that they were high efficiency image capture formats. And I thought, and it was telling me they wouldn't work on iOS. I thought, fabulous. So I need to batch process them into another format. So that's one of the reasons that you might be able to batch, you might need to batch process stuff. So I went into Affinity Photo. This is the currently released version of Affinity Photo. And this was when I had a problem. Right. Very easy to batch process. File, batch job. And the first thing you need to do is add your source files. So add, and go and find the files. So I don't want them from up there. I want them from in here. There we go. Affinity Photo. These were the files. And that was when I hit a brick wall. I can see my files, bang in the middle of the screen, but I couldn't do anything with them. It wouldn't select them. And I thought, oh dear. Only those weren't the words. And I realised I was going to have a problem. And the problem is because of the file format. High efficiency image captures don't work well. Not much reads them. Now, there is an exception to that. Mike got a free app called Walter, wasn't it? That did convert it, but I didn't have this app and I didn't want to go away and have to find another app to do the conversion. Which was when me reading the release notes paid dividends. So close Affinity Photo, open up Affinity Photo Beta. And in the release notes, I vaguely recollect it mentioned something about high efficiency support. So I thought, I wonder. So the Affinity Photo Beta file, new batch job, Exactly the same thing. Do an add and point it to that folder, and now they're alive. They are actually alive. I can edit them now. I can open them and I can do things with them, including batch process. So Command and A to select them all, and then open. That loads them into the sources file window, part of the window, the list, the sources list. And they are all listed in there. The next thing to do is choose where to save them to. Now, I have done this before, obviously. And the default is save into the original location. But that authorize button is alive until you authorize it. So I've already hit authorize once, so it doesn't start bothering me to do it again, but you will need to do that once. If you don't want to save into the original location, you can choose save into and then use the ... button to choose the actual location to save the files. So if you've ever batch processed anything before, it seems fairly straightforward so far. Then we come on to the things that are Affinity Photo specific when it comes to batch jobs, which are the save as format. So you have 4 formats there, and possibly a fifth there, that format. Save as Affinity Photo, save as JPEG, PNG, TIFF, or an open EXR. Now, I wanted them as JPEGs, so I'm going to take the tick out of Affinity Photo, put the tick in JPEG. That actually would do it. I could actually just run that right now. But you have a few more options. You can specify a width and height for the images that are output. And you can go into here and you can change the pixel format, the matte, all kinds of things, what quality they are. The exact options you have in those pop-outs there, so let's go to PNG, will change depending on the file format and what the file format supports. So if we go to TIFF and go in there, you've got slightly different options. So just a matter of being aware of that. You don't have any options for Affinity Photo because Affinity Photo will take care of that. But remember, all I've done at this stage is say save as JPEG. That's it. There is a whole other bit of this interface, which is the bit in the lower right, the 2 list options here, which we'll come to look at shortly. But for the minute, we can just ignore them. So think about what I've actually done here. I've loaded the images in, I've authorized the save location, and I've told it what file format I want. And then I'm just going to hit OK. A batch window opens. So it's over on the left-hand side there, and you can see the little cogs spinning away and the green ticks start to fill in until they're all complete, at which point, if I go to my Finder, we should see they are appearing in there. I'm not seeing them. Oh dear, that's not good. Where are they? Oh, I know where they are. All right, I didn't set it. I've used these images, but I had my files in a different location. I had my files in my downloads, in my other downloads, in my Christmas images. No, I didn't, not Christmas images. It must have been photos. Was it files? Oh, where have I put them? Dear me, that's not good, is it? Let's have a look. Definitely in here somewhere. Photos, that's where they were. There they were, in here. And they were one of these. It must have been pick 2 because they were today's and they were the high efficiency ones. And there they are. There you go. The file time is right now, 22:05. So these are the ones that I've just done. So I can create from there. So there's my first one, Bubble Bridge. And there is my original of Bubble Bridge. So it's really quick to be able to do that, but you don't need to leave it there. Let's go back. Let's make sure I put them in the right place this time so we can find them. Right, let's go back and do it again. So File and Batch Job. But this time I'm going to get clever with it. And actually, before I can do that, I'll do it twice. There you go. I'll do it twice. All right, so I'm going to add the images. So where are we putting these? Oh, I was right. I'm hoisted by my own petard here. Right, let's go and get them from in there. My Affinity Photo, high efficiency images. Okay, right, select all of them and open. That loads them into the source list. So we're back to loading them into the source list. Then I'm going to save into the original location. It's pre-authorized. Because I loaded them in from the correct place, they will save to the correct place. Honestly, they will. Right, this time what I'm going to do, I will make them JPEGs. Let's do a JPEG. So it looks like I'm doing exactly the same again, but I'm going to add in one extra step. And my one extra step is down in the bottom half of the dialog, which says available macros. Now, what I'm going to attempt to do so you can see this clearly is zoom in. This might not end well. Might have to tell me whether it works properly or not. But hey, let's give it a go. So hang on to your hats while I zoom in. Right, I'm looking at the bottom half of the dialog, and it's talking about macros. When Affinity Photo ships, it has 5 macros in it in a group called default. So if I click on default, that's all that's there. That's extensible. Don't worry about it. I'm just wondering, is this working? How's it looking at your end? Not great. Not great. Okay, it's not looking great apparently. Well, I'm going to leave it alone while I talk it through. It could look better than that, couldn't it? Oh, that's fabulous when you're sharing your screen. I'll make sure it works next time. Okay, so I'm just going to talk through this. Within that default macro group, you have 5 shipping macros that ship with it. And I'm going to choose one of them. We'll make it the black and white. And I'm going to hit apply, and that will move it across into the applied macros list. So it's going to do that. You can add more than one macro. You can stack the macros. So if I wanted to strip the metadata out of it as well, I can apply that. So it will make it black and white, it will strip the metadata, and then it will process them. Let's have a look at that. So I'm going to zoom out. So your screen should eventually settle down. Let's give it a couple of seconds to make sure it does settle down. If it doesn't settle down, I've got bigger problems, haven't I? That's got to be Wirecast, because normally that works. It works in Connect. Okay, hopefully it will settle down again. Am I zooming out and will it settle down? It should be, I'm just giving it that couple of seconds. Yay, it settled. Right, brilliant. So I'm going to run that. And it's running through these, away it goes. So we've got the spinning cog, and then we've got green ticks as everything comes in and finishes off. So let's have a look over here. And where are we? I've got my Finder window while it finishes. And I am looking at my After Hours folder. Here we go. My Affinity Photo Images. And there is the original high efficiency. And there's the one I've created in black and white. So high efficiency, black and white JPEG. That is fabulous. But obviously at that stage, you're limited. So let me just select these and put them in a folder called black and white, because I'm going to do it again. So we want them out of the way. Black and white. There we go. So I'm going to work with the same images again, but this time I'm going to format them with a different macro. And that macro doesn't exist right now. So let's make a macro and apply one of our own. Now, macros are really simple. I'm just going to Command and N to get a new blank file. What I would like from these images is I want to edit them all in Affinity Photo. And I'm going to work on the assumption that all of them... Have a great Christmas, Graham. We will see you soon. Next time being next Friday. Right. With these, I'm going to assume I want to open them in Affinity Photo. And I want to make repairs to every one. And that's normally what I do. I just tidy the images up with a little bit of clone stamp and whatever I need to do to tidy up the images. So this is the manual process that I do. I would add an image in there, which happens to be that image. And then I would add a layer over on the right-hand side. I double click it and I would call that repairs. And I do that with every file I open in here, and then I would start repairing it. So for instance, in this image, it's mainly blue, and I don't like the fact there's like a red dot there. So I would, for example, get rid of that. I would activate that tool, the clone, and I would go into it like that, and my red dot would disappear. And if I wanted to get rid of the big green thing as well, because I'd much rather it was blue, I could do that too. There we go. And tidy it up a little bit. There we go. Hardly know it's there. And the benefit of having it there is it's on its own layer. So I can bring it back in and I can have a look. And I can think that looks a little bit rough around the edge, and then go in and keep doing that. So that's what I do with every single image. It takes a little bit of time, but that's what I do. What we want to do, though, is to do that much quicker. And you can do that with a macro. It's only a very simple thing, you know, add a layer, rename it, but anytime you can save, all the better. So I'm going to delete my repairs. You do not need to do this on an image. So I'm actually going to close that image as well, not save it. I'm back at a blank window. That's fine. Doesn't matter. Here's what you do. You go to your macro panel. I have no macros in there at the moment. And you click record. You don't need to know any kind of language to make this work. Then you just do what you did, which was the 2 steps. Add a layer, double click that, type what name you want, which is repairs. I want to add a repairs layer, and that's it. Then I'm going to hit the stop button in the macro window. And there are the 2 steps, add pixel layer and set description to repairs. Now, at this point, that macro's just sat there and it will play if I want it to play. So every time I play it, it adds a layer called repairs. Fabulous. But it's not in my library yet. If I go over to my library, I've still only got the 5 that were there before. So this macro is sort of in suspended animation at the moment. But what you can do is there is a save button, an add to library button. So I'm going to hit that button there. This is where you get to choose the category. But look, there's only one category. So it's going to have to be saved into default. But I can give it a name. So add repair layer. And click OK. It flicks me over to my library. And at the bottom, there is my macro. And as I run that, I'm just going to get rid of all of these layers, or you're not going to see much at all. So I've got my 1 repair layer at the top, but every time I click that, it not only adds the layer, but it renames it repair as well. And it's running it from the library. I probably don't want that in default though. So what I can do in here is, well, I'm having a think about that actually. I'm not seeing, there we go. In here, that's my default section there. And what I can do in there is things like export, rename, all that kind of stuff. But what I want is the one a little bit higher up. So there's 2 burger menus, one on top of the other. And this is a beta. And if you notice, that wasn't there. And I had to flick to macros and flick back again to activate it. So if it's not there, just click away and click back. Within there, you can choose to create a new category. So there is my category. It's now called macros. And I can click the lower burger menu, the dedicated one, rename that. And instead of macros, I can have Elaine's macros. And now take my repair layer and drag and drop that down to Elaine's macros. Right. Now, got that far. What were we doing way back when? We were running that batch process. So I can close this file. We don't need the file open. The only reason we had that there for was to create the macro. File and new batch job. Go and choose the images. So it's the same images we had before. And open. And then run through the options that you have in here. So I do want it to be an Affinity photo file this time. I could make other file formats, but given what I want to do with the macro, which is add an Affinity photo layer to it for my repairs, I really want it as an Affinity photo file and I'm not interested in any other file format. Then I have my list of available macros, and you remember we clicked on default and we only had default. Because I've created a new category of macro, we now have Elaine's macros available. If I click in there, we've got the actual macro that we created. and hit apply to that. That moves it across over to the applied macros section, and you're good to go. So all I need to do there is click OK, and what will happen at this end, hopefully, is it will start creating those files. So you can see the cog as it's working, the green tick as it completes, and then the file appears in here. Right, so I'll go to the first one. That was Bubble Bridge. Bubble Bridge. Bubble Bridge was the first two, so let's open the second one there. It opens it up. It is an Affinity photo file format. More importantly, across on the right-hand side, as well as my background, which I had originally, I now have an empty layer named repairs to put my repairs on. And if we go across here and we just randomly open another one, that also has the repairs layer in there. So that was a batch process that I did two different types of jobs with. My initial requirement was that the high efficiency image captures were JPEGs because Keynote was bleating about it. And I struggled to find an application that could read the high efficiency image format. If you're wondering how on earth I ended up with those on the desktop anyway, because when you normally when you transfer images from your phone, they tend to come in as JPEGs to start with. So how did I end up with weird stuff? It was the way that I transferred it. If I airdrop images, they tend to be JPEGs. But if I transfer them manually off my phone using an app called Phone View, I tend to get the high efficiency. So that's why you may not have had the need up to now to do that conversion. But in this circumstance, I had the need for that, and no other app, without going off and finding a paid for thing or a temporary solution and trying to sort that out. I really wanted to use something that I'd already got. And while Affinity Photo can't do it, Affinity Photo Beta and thus future versions of Affinity will be able to do it. But the second thing I did with the batch process was take it much further than that. Take my original images, convert them to Affinity Photo format, and start adding work to it. So my layers that I needed were I added to it. So two distinct type of requirements, both solved with the batch process option. Okay, I've got a question in there that I can see, which is, I've got two now. One is, did you use the camera app from the iPhone for your photos and videos? I did. I do actually own Pro Camera, and I had another one as well, the name of which escapes me. But I did not know about the add-on for low light. Ooh, I'm going to try that. I will absolutely try that. My phone is an iPhone 7. I'm actually very happy with it. So I didn't go to a 10 or a 10XS or whatever they're calling them today. I've actually stuck with it. And it's a little bit grainy in low light, but my big concern this time was the blue ones. If we look at that bubble bridge, it didn't get the bubbles right at all. And it all looks a little bit posterized. So I will definitely try that and report back. I will. Mavis Pro with the iPhone. I've used another one for video, but it wasn't that one. So, was it Prismo?
Yeah, I was just checking.
No. No.
Emulsio.
Emulsio was one I used. But I've never had great results, so I'm going to try that one now. So thank you very much for that, Judith. I will try both of those. Might have to head back to Dunham for that, because it was a fabulous experience anyway. Right, okay, let's head in and see what we've got next. What's next? Oh, it's the unboxing of the week. It's the unboxing of the week. It has become a tradition here at After Hours to have an unboxing of the week. And I have a small unboxing of the week.
To hold the camera.
Yes, but I'm going to have to reshare it and all that kind of stuff. So before we hare off down that route, oh, if only things just worked. You know, Apple tell you things just work. Things never just work with Apple. See, now the phone's turned off. Oh, well, while you're thinking about that, I'll tell you about my unboxings this week. My unboxings this week have been pretty amazing. Can't spill the beans, to be honest, but let's just say Amazon have been incredibly busy this week. This was the state of our extension as the parcels arrived, were unboxed, rewrapped, and ready to go. It's been a busy week, hasn't it?
Has been
It's been a busy week. So that's what we've been up to. So what I'm going to do here is get rid of Affinity Photo. Down there you go. Hopefully our server's there. Hopefully it's playing ball. And if I can... No, it's not playing ball. That's just turned off again. Oh, come on. Right. I am determined this will work. But I need to swipe up from the bottom, and you can't when it's in the cradle. This is the problem. Right, let me do it there. No, it won't do it at all now. Oh, I am endeavouring to get this on the screen to you so we can see my toy, the unboxing of my toy. Right, can I get in there and touch that? Oh, fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. And I need my app, which is my mirroring app. Where are we now? Are we the right way up? Oh, fabulous. So if you can just hold that. Right, let's get that out of the way. That's where I'm seeing you guys from. Let's get that bigger, and let's get the box on the desk. This is a little toy. I'm addicted to these things. Have you noticed, Mike? Yeah, iPad stands. What can I say? Can't stop buying the things. I think, but that's...
Stop buying iPads.
I can't stop buying iPads. No. That's quite right. In fact, should we show them? Should we show them? Show you. iPads.
Charging station city.
iPads. There we go. Let's go up. iPads. There we go. That's my iPad station. So he's quite right. I can't stop buying iPads. Never mind iPad stands. Right. There's the box. Let's unbox it. Now, actually, this box is interesting because on the back it's got the instructions and it's a DIY job.
Not from IKEA, is it?
Look at that. I think you're actually the wrong way around because the ABCs. I know, but if I fiddle, when I fiddled, it went upside down.
Well, don't fiddle.
Hold it steady. I need to tap that bit, don't I? Wait, it worked. Went upside down when I did that before. Right, now it's the right way around. I am actually here. Hello. Right, so the instructions are on the back and it's all in bits. Yeah, it's an IKEA job. But you can never have too many iPad stands. So let's open that and see what we have on the inside. I'm going to put this together. This is going to be pressure, isn't it? It's like extreme IKEA sports. Right,
what? Not a screw missing.
Yeah, what we're aiming for is a little iPad stand. Looks like a mushroom, doesn't it? We're aiming for this. Right. So if I put my other iPhone on there, the reason that I like this one is there's a gap at the bottom that I can put my charger in. Hold it either way. And it tilts. Whee! So that's why I like it. I've just got to get it assembled.
So if she can't assemble it, there's one already there.
I did do one earlier.
Yeah.
Yes, I know. I bought two of them. Well, I've got two workspaces. What can I say? Right, are you pointing this at where? Right, there's the bit that the phone sits in with a bit of a plastic thing here, which doesn't exactly look great, to be honest with you. And the rest of it is in here. It's all hidden in here. So let's open the rest of it. This was the princely sum of £9. It's very heavy, so it can handle the thing without falling over. I'm not too sure about the logic of buying kit that comes with a screwdriver. But there's the bits and pieces. So I need the 3 bits and pieces. So let's take the tube out. There we go. And there's the bottom bit. I have managed to put an iPad on it, but I wouldn't recommend you do it with one bigger than a 9.7. So these are the 3 bits. And the first time I put it together, I thought, interesting. How do you... But never mind. Right, so there's this bit as well. Can I just say, it is after hours, isn't it? Yeah. But the clean tag doesn't matter, does it? It's a long screw. I'm saying nothing more than that. So you will need something to assemble it with.
To a screw against the wall.
Yes, one of those. Right. Now, you don't need a screwdriver, though. You don't need a screwdriver. Let me get that there. No. You need this that ships with it. So it really is IKEA. It's IKEA. And it goes in like that. So I was thinking to myself, right, that's great. Instructions.
This afternoon.
Yeah, instructions on the back. They are a little bit clear, aren't they? But it's mainly A, B, C, D, and E, and just shove it all together. So when I tried it, I thought, well, which way round does this go? Because that's got to go in the top of it, and that bit has got to go in the bottom of it. So how do you know which way round that goes? So I tried getting that on there, and you see how that slots in? Well, when I tried it the other way around, oh, it does. No, I didn't. One of them didn't work. One of them didn't work. And which way around did I put the other one? I had it in that way. So it went like that. So it doesn't, that doesn't fit on. But if you just turn it slightly, it kind of does that. Right. Now, I did notice when I did it the first time that there's like black plastic shears off that as you put it on. So make sure before you attach it that there's no black plastic sticking out at the bottom. Then you need to put that in, which does only go one way. I think that was the issue. There's something sticks out on that, and obviously you want it the other way there. So I think that did it. There you go. It slots in like that. And that's fine, as long as you don't want it to... Right, if you don't want it to fall to pieces, then turn it over. Pop the screw in. And it doesn't just drop in either. You do actually have to fiddle with it. Get it in like that. It's all a bit hard work, isn't it, this? Crying out loud. There we go. So I'm turning that round. Hopefully in the end it'll go in. There we go. It did kind of drop. There we go. Once you've got it through, it just drops. So once you've got it through that end, because otherwise you'd be turning and turning and turning and turning it, which you'd never do. Right, so with it in there, and you'll see it's fairly easy. I can actually feel that tightening as I go. So let's take that round. And it's what, 2 minutes? This is because they don't want to ship air. It's cheaper to ship the smaller it is. But that means you've got to assemble it. And while it's not difficult, I do wonder about some people. Right, there we go.
Job done.
So I now have another stand. There we go. And there it is. So let's get that phone again. Way, I've got twins. So I have another. I have another. Well, yeah, but what I'm doing with it, right? Let's get like that. Well, I know it's like that actually, isn't it? Right, let's take that over there. And I have a very short cable from my 10-port charger. There. That's my 10-port charger. Very short cable. And I push that over there, put that in there and leave it charging. And I can actually open that and use it. And it's fine. There we go. Fabulous. Fabulous. Yes, if I do say so myself. So that was unboxing of the week. So our next thing is app chat before we go, I think. I think it's app chat. Let me put that down and get everything back. And then we can see if it's app chat. And I'm pretty sure it's app chat. Oh, no. I need to show you. It's $8.99. But you can get that cheap. It will come on offer. When it does, it's about £5. So keep your eye on it. It comes on offer in silver and black. It says up to 10.5. I wouldn't. I'd say 9.7. I wouldn't put more than that on it. And I definitely wouldn't put the 11-inch on it. You might get away with it in landscape rather than portrait. But to be honest, I still wouldn't risk it. So, our app chat. We want to know from you what apps you want us to cover. Now, we are told Affinity Photo, designer and publisher on a regular basis, which is why every week we have done something on Affinity designer, photo or publisher. We've also been told Devon Think, Pixelmator Pro. Anything else come to mind? No one said Excel, have they?
No.
No, but that bit was sexy because it had good reader in it. Good nose. Good nose. So we want to know from you what you want. So you've got to tell us what you want. What we'll be doing next time is talking about our favourite apps.
Yeah.
Because we've been asked what our favourite app was, and that was difficult. I still don't think I can handle just one. No? No, I think it's very difficult to choose.
A whole array of them.
I have a whole array of them. So I said, can I have one in every genre? So we're going to be doing that because that's what we've been asked for. But like I say, we want to know what you want to know. So let us know. While we're thinking about that, though,
Send us an email.
you could send us an email. You can get me on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever.
MacBites UK.
MacBitesUK@gmail.com. But while we're talking about apps that are good, I like Fantastical. And I know you use Fantastical on iOS.
I use it on the phone.
I have it on the desktop for one reason and one reason only.
Yes, we know.
The icon at the top.
We know.
I paid 50 quid to have an icon at the top of it.
I know you did.
I know. It's shameful.
How many stands you could get for that 50 quid?
I could have had easy 10 different stands there, couldn't I? That's not on.
One for each iPhone.
Yes, one for each iPhone. No, the thing with that was on the iPhone, I think it's spectacular. I must admit, it's not the one I'm primarily using now, but it was good.
Is it the one I primarily?
Well, there is a reason why not. I've moved my calendars to Google, and when I did, I actually found the Google Calendar app very good. But Fantastical is brilliant. It's got more functionality on it, absolutely.
Okay. What I do is I use the Google Calendar for my nocturnal activities.
I don't think we should ask more about that. Right. Daniel says his main interest is the Affinity apps. Right, Daniel, is that on iOS or Mac or Windows or all three or two of whatever? Let me know what platform. We did some on iPad last week, and we had somebody with us who only uses an iPad, so he was very interested in the iPad versions. So let me know platform, and then we can find some stuff that we can do. In the meanwhile, Fantastical. It's not cheap, but it's very good. On the phone, it's not too bad, to be honest. I would recommend it absolutely on the phone, but I think it's quite an expense. But fear not, there is a 50% discount at the minute. That's why we're talking about it. So now is the time to buy Fantastical if you are interested. I do have it on my watch, I think, but I don't actually use it that much. I find the normal calendar enough on my watch. But there is a 50% discount. So go to flexbits.com if you are interested in that. Windows. Oh.
Windows user.
Oh, a Windows user. Fantastic. Okay. I've got the Windows versions. I've got a VM and I've got the Windows versions. I do actually have a physical Windows machine, Daniel. It broke. Did an update and it never came back to life. So that's on my to-do over Christmas list.
Or on my Surface if you want.
No batch in iPad. No, I don't think there would be. That will be to do with the API that Apple allow them access to, would be my guess with why not. I don't think there aren't many apps that can batch process anything on an iPad, is there? Maybe they'll add it, but no, it doesn't look like it at the moment. So that was that one. The other deal, and this isn't really designer stuff, but if you're into your programming or Camtasia type stuff, in fact, maybe there is some designer stuff there, but it's mainly for programmers. Pact Press have got a deal on at the moment where every ebook and every video is $5. Just go and see if there's anything Photoshopish, or there won't be anything Affinity, I don't think. But is there anything designer-ish? It's mainly programming stuff. Obviously, for me, I buy stuff like the Camtasia things because I use Camtasia to make my videos to get to you guys. But everything is $5. I think the UK price is £4.70. So I've spent an absolute fortune there. I really have at the moment. So I can highly recommend that you go there and have a look at that as well. So really, it's with it being Christmas Eve.
No, there's nothing on Photoshop. There's nothing on Affinity.
There might be something on Illustrator.
Hang on, Photoshop 7.
I'm sure there's something. Mike's struggling to find anything designerish, but you never know.
Responsive web design.
There's lots on web design. There's absolutely loads on web design. So if you're doing web design stuff, then you're in there.
3D models. You see, this came up on search for Photoshop.
Well, Photoshop will be mentioned in those things, but unfortunately, like I say, there's not going to be any Affinity books. I actually find older Photoshop books are really on point for Affinity. When Photoshop focused on core editing features, the stuff that's in those books is very applicable to Affinity stuff. So I've got old books that I look at and think, oh, that'd be a good demo. Can I do that in Affinity? And I use it that way. But it's worth a look, isn't it? Some of the stuff I've bought is like a 3-hour tutorial video, and it was £4.70. So I thought I'd mention it. It's worth a look at. It's worth a look at, I thought. Can't say fairer than worth a look at, can you? So that has been the After Hours. So we'd like to say a Merry Christmas to you and yours from everybody here at MacBites headquarters. That includes MacBites Siri and Lady Siri, who have been quite quiet at the moment.
They're planning.
They're planning and they're plotting. And can I just say, also Merry Christmas from Alexa here, MacBites Alexa.
MacBites Alexa.
MacBites Alexa. That we have beaten into submission with a stick, and we now have an everywhere group that actually works. Don't turn her on.
Alexa, say Merry Christmas.
And a Happy New Year.
Say it again.
Alexa, say Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
How much did we pay for that to do that? It's scary. Okay, our next After Hours. That's what you're interested in. Oh, hang on. It's not moving. That's not good. Our next After Hours is next Friday. Actually, it's this Friday, isn't it? This Friday. In 4 days. I've already lost track of what day it is.
Said that on Twitter.
I lost track of what day it was on Saturday night. Saturday night. I thought, what, is it the weekend? Yeah. No, because you finished work. But, I've totally lost track of the days. But it's going to be Friday, which is 4 days. So you've got time to open all your Christmas presents, overindulge in turkey, and come back and have a chat with us. 28th at 9 p.m. This is the plan. The plan is this. Our week at MacBites HQ, in other words, what we got for Christmas. Not that we usually stop ourselves, do we? The Affinity Adventure of the Week is going to depend on what you tell me you want. Now, Daniel said Windows. So I intend to do the next demo on Windows. There you go. Can't say fairer than that, can I? So the next Affinity demo will be on Windows. I wonder if it's worth getting Affinity Publisher for Windows. I'm going to play with that. Oh, Daniel, you've given me ideas now. So I will be deep in the Windows world this week. We're also going to be looking at working productively in 2019. So all of our productivity apps and pretty much what we've changed this year and why. Because I'm hoping next year will be more productive than this year. It's not productive when you're changing apps. And we've changed a lot of apps. So we'll be talking about that and how to be productive. So that's the plan. But obviously, if something fantastic comes out in the meanwhile, which is highly unlikely given it's Christmas Eve, I'm still waiting for Scrivener 3 for Windows. That's been promised since forever, and unless I've blinked and missed it... When did the other one come out? This November the something, in the middle of NaNoWriMo last year. And they said that the Windows one would follow, and it's not there yet. But hopefully it'll be coming soon, because Mike spent money on it today, didn't you? Yeah.
I was going to say that.
Well, now you've bought it, that'll G them up a little bit. So that's what we intend to do. Graham's gone, so can we really have something to eat? We always have something to eat. Well, today's a special day, isn't it? It's Christmas Eve. Oh, did you know, I think we should share something really special about today.
What, the mince pie?
More special than the mince pie. What's today?
What's today?
He's lost.
Our anniversary.
It's our anniversary. Shall we tell them?
Go on then.
It is the anniversary of the day we got engaged. 19 years ago. Not managed the wedding yet, but we're working on it. Can't rush these things. No. You cannot rush these things. It's only 19 years. I mean, how long could it take to plan a wedding? Rest of my natural, probably. Given how things work these days, you could have to order a wedding dress now for 19 years from now.
Could you?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I had no idea. And cakes.
Is this because of Brexit?
No, this is just generally. Oh. Apparently, you can't just go in today to order a cake for next week. You've got to give them 6 months' notice. Makes you wonder how old the cake is, doesn't it? But never mind. So it's a special day for us. We love Christmas Eve. We absolutely love it. And it was wonderful to share it with you guys. So we will be going to go and have something to eat. It's going to be a mince pie.
At least.
A gluten-free mince pie. Although Mike's just said at least, meaning he's possibly partaking of more than one.
And some cake.
Oh, and some cake as well, my word.
And a piece of fudge.
Let's just say we've hit the gluten-free aisle this week.
There's nothing left.
There's nothing. Well, actually, they were very devious. They put a Swiss roll in the gluten-free that wasn't. A Christmas log, one or the other.
Good job I checked.
It was a good job you checked. That's dangerous.
It is.
That is dangerous, because you look at it and think, wow, that looks fantastic. And you bring it home and before you know it.
Somewhere else.
I should think. Did you know the thing that makes me laugh? This is why I would be better organising shops than the people who do.
This is why I do the shopping.
It is, and it's why Mike does the shopping, yes, because I keep getting thrown out. No, I went into this shop and I'm looking for the gluten-free bread. Couldn't find it. Said, where's the gluten-free bread? She said, in the bread aisle. Why would you put gluten-free bread in the bread aisle? You're not going to get passing trade there. No. I can't venture in the bread aisle. I'm very, very allergic to gluten and I can't walk up the bread aisle. So I said, well, can you go and get me one then? Why would you do that? But never mind. So we're going to head off and have our mince pies. We're going to be back on Friday night and we want to hear from you. So do let us know. And as I promised Daniel, next Affinity whatever demo will be in Windows. Our Mac people are going to be very upset. But you know what? I don't care. I don't care. Daniel's with us. Daniel said Windows. Windows it is. All the Mac people will be hyperventilating. What's that cross button and things? But Windows works great now.
Better than the Mac.
I'm warming to Windows. I'm considerably warming to Windows. So I'll be running it in a VM with 32 gig of memory. I wonder how it'll work with Wirecast and everything else.
It'll be fine.
It'll be warm in here.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, and as you saw today, it's laggy, isn't it?
Mm.
It's laggy. So all that is left for us to say is a happy Christmas to you and yours.
And a Merry New Year.
From us and ours.
And all our series.
All our series, all our Alexas, and all our tech, all our iPads and everything. I wish you and yours a very, very, very happy Christmas. And we will see you
next
time. Good night, guys.